Hi, Matt Crow here. Welcome to Minimal Effective Dose Strength Workout number 5. This one's all about body weight. I call it my body weight challenge because there's a few tricky exercises. What I'm going to do today is you only do every exercise once, but you get a choice. I'm going to give you a harder version and an easier but not easy version. You choose which one you do. You can modify it any way you like. You get to choose how many reps you do. If you really want to challenge yourself, do 16 reps of each of the exercises. If you want to do medium level, do 12 reps. If you want to do it just starting out, 8 reps is definitely enough. And remember, when I do a single leg exercise or a single arm exercise, you just do half the number. So if you've chosen 12 as your reps, you do 6 each side. And give it a go, follow along. I'll give you the hard version and the easy version, or the easier version of each set, and give it a go. First up, we have a fantastic push-up variation called a push-up break dance. You do a push-up and then you take the opposite leg and try and put it where the opposite hand is. So the further forward and through you put the foot, the more mobility and the more flexibility required. The variation on this one is called a push-up open book. For this one, we just do a push-up and push the whole body as one, rolling from one side to the other, so we end up in a side plank with the hand to the sky. You choose. Next exercise is called a curtsy squat. The idea here is to challenge your balance, keep your knee that's on the ground facing forward, whilst we put the other leg as far to the side and behind you as possible. The big trick here is, can you go slowly down and hit your knee to the ground first, or gently lower it down so you've got control the whole way. A lot of strength, a lot of balance here, but a fantastic glute exercise. The next one is the variation, which is basically a reverse lunge with balance. So with this time, instead of going across, we're just stepping straight back. That's it. Lower yourself down. Slowly making that knee hit first if you can, but just working very hard on that eccentric down phase where you've got control and the balance. Just like so. Exercise 3, all you need is a water bottle. This is called a Turkish Getup, one of the foundation moves in a lot of great athletes' workouts. The idea here is to keep one arm vertical at all times and get up off the ground via a lunge position. So 4 stages. You'll see here, your bum comes up, you come up, your bum comes up, your knee goes back, and then you stand up. Then reverse it, knee down, arm down, and leg back through the hole. The key part here is to get up with your abs, bring your bum up, put your knee into a lunge position behind you, and then stand up and reverse it. Don't be tempted just to get straight up. Get that knee into lunge position and then put it back out the front just like that before you get up and down. A great exercise. All round muscle groups are being used here. Dozens and dozens of muscle groups. The variation on this one is basically just a crisscross stance to get up and down. So we get up, we just put one leg behind the other and stand straight up. There's no lunge position as such. You're just getting up off the ground and back down. Anything that gets you on the ground and back up again is fantastic for you. But once again, just keep that arm vertical that's got the water bottle in it. And it always helps when you have a beautiful view and a beautiful location to do your exercises. Exercise 4, once again, challenging your balance a little bit here. It's a 1-leg deadlift with a hop as we drive that knee through. Obviously, we've got the balance, trying to get that leg all the way back, keeping your pelvis nice and square with a nice flat back. And as you come through, you drive the knee hard enough so you can get a little hop. And the hop requires you to balance quite a lot as you land. And that's part of the activity, or the glutes are working very hard to keep you stable. This is one that will take some practice. The variation on this one is a 1-leg deadlift without the hop. So we're still getting the balance of stabilizing on one leg and taking it back behind you Keeping the pelvis as flat as possible, you will have a tendency to want to roll to one side. Try and keep that pelvis nice and flat, arms out, and get into a nice T position, remembering your leg stays just a little soft. Don't bend too much with the leg. Keep the hips nice and high and challenge your balance. Whoop, just like that. It is challenging. It was a windy day. Okay, a full sit-up is next. Back in the day, they used to say never do a sit-up with your legs straight. That is a myth. If you can do it properly, keep your legs very straight, your toes are up, have your water bottle straight up above your eyes, and try and keep your arms vertical at all times. And the way to do a sit-up correctly is roll one vertebrae at a time, up off the ground, cervical, then thoracic, then lower lumbar, going off the ground. Now the variation on this one is just put the water bottle down and just keep your hands out front, always reaching forward. What that does is put a little bit weight forward. It just makes it easier to roll your body up and down. The most important thing with a full sit-up is no momentum. Feel like you're rolling that vertebrae all the way up and all the way down. The next exercise is a burpee variation. Now it looks a lot harder than it actually is. Jump back with a good strong core, do a push-up, jump through into what's called a sumo squat. Right, so we want a nice sumo squat position where our bum ends up below our knees if possible. Really good for your mobility. Of course, stand up straight and reach to the sky, bring your legs together, go back, jump through into sumo, keep your bum low, back nice and straight, keeping posture. Should always have your chest forward. The variation on this one is a push-up to mountain climber. So basically just do a push-up, keep your back nice and flat, and drive your legs underneath you 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do a push-up. Keep that back and posture really strong so your bum is not bouncing up in the air. Drive those feet as far forward as you can. And that is another dynamic and awesome exercise. This will really challenge your strength and your balance. It is a one-leg eccentric squat. What we're trying to do here is keep the weight on your heel and sit down onto the bench, or in my case, the rock, as slowly as possible. So, got all the balance requirements and all the strength requirements of really lowering yourself slowly. That's where the majority of the strength is, by lowering yourself slowly and controlled on the downward phase. You notice I'm going up and coming up, keeping that leg in the air. That's the hard version. Now the easy version is you're still lowering yourself down, but you put your other foot on the ground to bring yourself up. So lower yourself down, keep the knee tracking nice and straight. Make sure you're sitting into your glutes, keeping really good posture, and put your other leg down to stand back up. A good test of your leg and overall body strength, this one. Quite a tricky one here. We're doing a push-up as close as we can to a bench or a step. Right, then we do walk one hand up onto the step and the other hand up onto the step, keeping it back nice and flat, and then simply thrust up with your calves. That simple calf thrust up makes this a lot harder than you think and really activates your core. So you just do the push-up, head very close to the bench, step one hand up at a time, keeping your back flat, and just drive up with your calves. You see that little thrust I get with my ankle flexion. And the variation on this one is just basically a push-up, walk up. So you'll see this time, I'm just moving my feet a little bit. Doing the push-up, walking up, keeping the good posture with the body as I walk up. And just a little quick feet movement just makes it a little bit easier. But just a little bit dynamic variation to the push-up. And the last one, okay, we've saved the best and probably the most difficult for last. It is a burpee sit-through variation. So we're going to do a push-up, and we swivel on that one hand and sit the leg through, right? It's like you're going to sit down, but don't quite touch the ground. The other hand comes up in the air. Do a push-up, jump through, jump up in the air. So watch again, push up, and really swivel on that hand that's got the weight. You've really got to turn your body. Do the push-up, swivel the body, get that heel to the ground and toe to the air. Jump up, do a burpee. A very challenging one. The easier option for this one is forget the burpee, just go from a plank position to the sit-through. So a lot of core muscles are being involved, a lot of glute muscles, a lot of shoulder muscles are in this motion just to try and balance you and sit that leg through. The further underneath and close your bum is to the ground. So there you have it, some challenging body weight exercises you've probably never seen before. Get outdoors, do 8 reps, do 12 reps, challenge yourself, do 16 reps. It doesn't matter how many you do, you're going to use muscles you've probably never used before. That's the good part. Give them a go, see you next time.